Welcome to Life in Calgary, Alberta. I'm Patrick Murray. Are you looking to make your first purchase of an investment property in Calgary, Alberta? If you are, there are some key factors that you need to take into consideration if you are making that purchase so that your investment is a success. And we're going to delve into that in this very video. But before we do that, if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything there is about what it's like to eat, sleep, breathe, live, and play in Calgary, Alberta, then please just hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now, I've lived in 5 major Canadian cities in my adult life, but I settled in Calgary way back in 2001. But not only that, I've been a real estate professional here since 2010. And all of this means I have some specialized knowledge about the city of Calgary and the surrounding bedroom communities. So if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or one of these bedroom communities, you'd like some assistance to purchase a home, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you. All right, guys. Let's get into this right now. Let's talk about the key factors you need to consider when you purchase an investment property right after this. Now, the first thing to consider when purchasing your rental property is, of course, your budget and your target tenant, but also location. Location is very important because you have to imagine who your renter is going to be and what sort of amenities would they want to have in the property that you're purchasing. Not only that, but in the neighborhood where you're purchasing as well. Are you close to amenities? Do they require those amenities? Maybe you're going to be renting to a student. Are you close to the school, or are you on the train line to get you to the school that they're attending? So these are all things to think about. Location is important, but it has to do with who your target tenant is and, of course, your budget. Now, when you are looking at properties with your realtor, pay attention to the property's condition. Yes, this is going to be a rental property, so it may not be your forever home by any means, so there might be less emotion, but you'll want to make sure that you're not getting into a money pit at the same time. You don't want any structural deficiencies, so make sure you have an inspection, make sure you're checking out to ensure the roof is in good shape, the basement's in good shape, and the appliances are in working order. And if you need to make some small repairs, that's fine. Just don't blow your budget. Make sure there's room within your budget to make the purchase and any necessary repairs to make it ready for your target renter. Now, not all properties make great rentals, so you have to keep that in mind when you're thinking about your target tenant and the type of property you want to purchase. Storage is always good to have. So if you can have storage in your rental property, that will assist you. So whether you're buying a small condo, having that additional storage space is very helpful and very attractive to a renter. Now, if you're buying a house, perhaps a garage would be something that somebody would really like. Number of bedrooms is important as well because, families need places to sleep. So these are all things to think about when you're buying that investment property. Make sure you're buying something suitable for your target tenant. Now, when you're buying an investment property, you want to think about future appreciation because that's really what it's all about. Hey, wouldn't we all love to be cash flowing on our rental properties? I mean, that's obviously the goal if we can. We want to cover our expenses. But the truth is, rental rates fluctuate from year to year. And sometimes, perhaps all the rent might not be covered. So you may have to chip in $100 here or there. But that's that future appreciation that's really important because this is part of your retirement plan. So think about things like where you're purchasing. Is there a good sense of appreciation in the future? City core neighborhoods that are good city core neighborhoods, close to the downtown core, appreciate quite well. If you're looking at newer neighborhoods, think about the infrastructure in those communities because if there's good infrastructure, guess what? It also means there's likely going to be a good sense of appreciation for the future. So when you go to sell that property, hey, it's going to be a real asset to your investment and retirement portfolio. Now, maintenance costs are also something to think about when you're purchasing an investment property. So these are capital costs, right? These are expenditures that come up that are above and beyond. So you want to think about things like landscaping. Tenants aren't there to be your landscapers. They're there to rent the property and to enjoy it. So the less you have to spend on landscaping and keeping up the property, the better. So you might want to have, some low maintenance landscaping out there that's easy to look after with low to no maintenance if at all possible. And then you also want to think about the interior of the property. What are the floors like? Yes, it's gorgeous to have these beautiful hardwood floors in a home. It's hard not to fall in love with those. But at the same time, does that fit your demographic? Does that fit your tenant? You have to think about the fact that your tenant may not take care of the property the same way you would if you were living there. So that's something that you may have to repair down the road, or better yet, maybe replace with something like luxury vinyl plank. So these are some examples. The hot water tank's another good one. Make sure it's ample size so that it can look after the number of people that are in the home. Capital costs, these maintenance repairs that you might have to make over time, are something that you really need to take into consideration when you're purchasing that investment property. So the current and potential rental potential of a property is also something you need to take into consideration. Of course, we want a property that's going to rent today and in the future without much issue. So typically you want to look for a property with low vacancy rates, where people are moving there and where it's difficult to rent a property, because that probably means your property is likely going to rent, at least if you're reasonable with the rent. But you also want that appreciation in the future. So perhaps try to find some data with past appreciation rates, looking at how rental rates are going over the years, so you have an idea of what you can budget for the future. Because you know what, this might not be your only rental property. You may enjoy this investment and you want to get into other properties. So think about potential for the future, not just for the value of the property, but also for getting it rented and for keeping it rented, because an empty property is something that's costing you money, not making you money. And last but not least is exit strategy. This is something very few people think about. What happens if you buy this investment property and you don't like it? It's not like buying a mutual fund where you buy it and you forget about it, or you make those monthly payments that comes off your check and you don't have to think about it. Having an investment property is not a passive investment. It is active. You need to participate and you need to look after it. So I would recommend not purchasing an apartment building. Don't purchase a fourplex. Don't purchase a commercial property, because these properties require some investor sophistication. So if you're new to investing, those might not be the right properties for you. So consider the type of property you're purchasing, something that you could sell quickly if you needed to. So again, this comes down to the area, it comes down to the type of property, and it comes down to the tenant. Is there a plethora of renters that would rent this property for somebody else to come in and buy it as well? So think about your exit strategy. It's important, and it's something integral to buying your first investment property. As I said earlier, if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or one of the bedroom communities and you would like some assistance to purchase a home, please feel free to reach out to me. Send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you so you can live your life in Calgary, Alberta.